Alrighty, so I gotta get through this video as fast as I possibly fucking can. So, today I am going to be rating every single Amazing World of Gumball episode from 1 to 10. Pretty much how this will work is I am going to be switching through images. We got Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, and Season 6. Pretty much what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be reading off of this list of episodes, and I'm going to be rating every single episode of each season, which by the end of this video will equal to I have rated every single episode of this show. That's how it's going to work. I've done pretty much the exact same thing for South Park. I had to put that into 2 parts though, because that show has 25 seasons. Quite a few seasons. So yeah, I am going to pretty much so here's how it's going to work. I'm going to get the episode, I'm going to read the synopsis, and I'm going to say if it was good or not, and then I'm going to give it a rating. Yeah. So this I'm planning for it to be at least like 2 hours long. Gumball has quite a few episodes, 40 episodes every season. That's quite a few. So yeah, I'm going to be rating every single episode from seasons 1 to 6. Let's get started. All right. Season 1. The DVD. Gumball and Darwin accidentally destroy a late rental DVD and attempt to avoid the consequences, but fall when Nicole finds out. This episode, I remember them being very mischievous and pretty much just an episode where it's kind of like a catastrophe episode when something bad happens and then they try to fix it for the entire 10 minutes. I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got The Responsible. Gumball and Darwin attempt to show their responsibility by babysitting Anais while their parents are at a school meeting. Pretty much, this episode is very not memorable at all. I can barely remember it. um, I remember it pretty much being very, like, calm. I remember it being kind of, eh. I, I can barely remember it, though. 3 out of 10. Next, we got The Third. Gumball and Darwin grow bored of one another and seek out a third friend to make their lives more exciting. This was an episode where, they meet a kid named Tobias. They become friends with him. Yeah. And it's an episode where it starts off relaxing, no problem, but then it starts getting really chaotic and really bad. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Next we got The Debt. Believing that his life has been saved by Mr. Robinson, Gumball vows to repay his debt by saving Mr. Robinson's life. This episode felt like a giant montage. It felt really, really just bad. I remember my family really liked it. Um, yeah. I didn't like this episode like at all. It was kind of shit. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Oh, wait, no, 4 out of 10. Next, we got The End. Gumball and Darwin think that the world will end in 24 hours. Very simple plot. Pretty much, it's Gumball and Darwin finding out that the world will end in 24 hours, and then they just kind of want to fit in everything they possibly can in their life. For example, marrying someone, getting a haircut, getting a pet before they die in 24 hours. Yeah. It's a good episode. One of my favorites of season 1. I give it like a 7 out of 10. Okay, I gotta say something first. Season 1 is definitely one of the worst. Well, it's probably the worst season of the Amazing World of Gumball. It's pretty shit. um, yeah, I just don't like it. It's kind of bad. Um, but some episodes are pretty good. Yeah, because this season is just a bit too childish and a bit too chaotic, and it's not as funny as the other seasons. The only reason why the Amazing World of Gumball people watch it is because it's funny and it has adult references and it's just good for everyone. Everyone can watch it and there will be no problem. It's a good show. It's just straight up nice to watch. Next we got The Dress. When his clothes are accidentally shrunk in the washing machine by Richard, Gumball is forced to cross-dress by wearing Nicole's wedding dress to school. Soon, everyone at his school, especially Darwin, uh thinks that Gumball in the dress is a beautiful girl. Pretty much, this is just an episode where Gumball had to wear his mother's old wedding dress to school, and he got mistaken for a girl. Nobody knew that it was Gumball. Everybody thought it was a brand new girl that has just arrived at their school. And this episode started off pretty much. It's another episode where it starts off good and then ends off to be a catastrophe. Yeah, and it's kind of just a big long chaos episode. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. It's a classic. Next, we got The Quest. Gumball and Darwin help Anais get her beloved Daisy the Donkey doll back after it is lost on the way to school and gets taken by Tina Rex. This is just an episode where it's kind of just a big journey. You know how in some movies and stuff, it's a journey to get somewhere. This is the exact same thing. Their doll gets stolen. Well, Anais's doll gets stolen, who was their little sister, and they have to go on a journey to get it back from a monster, which is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yeah. I give this episode like a 4 out of 10. It's a classic, not extremely memorable, but it's decent. Next, we got The Spoon, I think. Yeah, The Spoon. While buying a last minute gift for their mum, Gumball and Darwin become unwitting accomplices in a stick up at a gas station. This is pretty much just a Home Alone situation. They encounter a robber, and then, well, they try to pretty much cause the robber to get hurt. That's the episode. That's literally the episode for you. I can't really explain it to you better. Yeah, I give it like a 6 out of 10. It's decent. It's kind of good. Yeah. Next got The Pressure. When Masami claims that Darwin is her boyfriend, Gumball vows to help his friend before he gets kissed. Yeah, this is just an episode where Darwin has a giant problem for the entire episode and tries different strategies to stop it. And the problem is that someone thinks that they are his girlfriend, or she is telling a lie to everyone else that she is his girlfriend because she wants to seem cool. And yeah, Darwin doesn't like it. I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. It's a classic, but it's pretty shit. Yeah. Next, we got The Painting. Principal Brown assumes that Anais finds her family dysfunctional after seeing a picture drawn by her, so he begins to meddle in their family life. This is. I don't really know how to explain it. It's kind of just an episode where someone is trying to perfect their family, who would be Principal Brown, and he wants to pretty much just make sure everything is completely fine, and then at the end of the episode, there's a whole thing where they put it back to normal. It's very not memorable. I don't really like this episode. It's kind of poo. I'd give it like probably a fucking 4 out of 10. It's not that good. Next, we got The Laziest. Gumball and Darwin challenge Richard to a laziness competition, with the loser having to do the winner's chores. This is literally just an episode where it's kind of just a challenge between each other. There's a whole thing with this guy called Lazy Larry. Larry is the guy in the town who pretty much does every single job in Elmore. He has every single job. And pretty much, yeah, there's a whole thing with him being lazy. It's a decent episode. It's not the best, but it's okay. I give it like a 5 out of 10. Next we got The Ghost. When Carrie possesses Gumball's body in order to eat, he must learn to say no to her. This is just an episode where Carrie gets hungry and Gumball lets her use his body for her to eat, pretty much. And pretty much at that's literally just the episode. And then it starts getting really out of hand. He starts getting really fat, and yeah, he has to try and learn to say no to Carrie. There's just an episode where it evolves into a real problem, like something that wasn't supposed to be a problem evolves into a real big problem for his body, for his personal health. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It's a classic. It's a really good episode for me. I used to really like watching this episode. It's just good. Next, we got the mystery. When his class finds Principal Brown wrapped up in toilet paper, shaved and covered in green paint, Gumball decides to try to find the culprit or else face detention. This is kind of just like a murder mystery, except no one's been murdered. They've just been injured, and they need to try and find out who was the one who did it, and that person will get a detention, or if it was a teacher, they will get fired. Yeah. And it turns out that it was their teacher at the end. Sorry, spoilers. Yeah. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. I like a good mystery. Then we got the prank. Gumball and Darwin's prank on Richard gets out of hand. Pretty much, this is just an episode where Gumball and Darwin do pranks on their dad, and then their dad do pranks on them, and then they do it back, and then he gets really sulky about it. He gets really pissed off, and yeah, they try to do a joke out of that, and it's really it's an okay episode. It's not very memorable though. I give it like a 5 out of 10. Yeah, so I'd give this episode like a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10. Yeah. Um. Next, we got the GI. Yeah. Gumball and Darwin are ridiculed for their martial arts costumes by their schoolmates, and Nicole tries to convince them to take it off. This is an episode where pretty much Gumball and Darwin do martial arts. They get martial arts suits, and then pretty much their schoolmates bully them for having really weird martial arts costumes. And then their mum really wants them to take it off. That's the episode. And it's an episode where a character is clueless that they are being hated on. And, well, another character knows that they are being hated on and wants to protect them. This is a decent episode. I give it like a 5 out of 10. It's not that memorable, like, at all. Next, we got The Kiss. A kiss from Granny Jojo traumatizes Gumball, so he tries to forget it by doing a bunch of gross things. Yeah, this is an episode where something happens to the character at the start of the episode, and then the character is traumatized for the entire episode, and other characters try to fix their traumatization. Yeah, it's a very easy to understand plot. What happens is Gumball gets kissed by his grandmother, and then he's traumatized for the entire episode and tries to traumatize himself more with other things because he doesn't want to be traumatized by the thing that happened to him, which was very disgusting. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It's a classic. It's a good one. Next, we got The Party. Gumball and his friends are invited to a high school party hosted by Tobias's sister, Rachel, but they must find dates in order to attend. This is an episode where everyone in their school is trying to obtain something to go somewhere. This is kind of just like a mid-season kind of thing, kind of celebration-ish thing, where they go to a party, and it's kind of just all over the place. But the whole problem in this episode is they need to find dates to go to this party. And yeah, everyone tries to do that, and they manage doing that, and they manage to get to the party. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Refund. Gumball and Darwin go to great lengths to get their money back from an incompatible video game, but the rental store's policies prevents them from getting it. Pretty much, this is an episode where Gumball and Darwin get a really shitty game, and, well, they want to refund it. Yeah, but the store won't let them. This is an episode where characters would try their best to accomplish something, to get something that they really want, and they would beg and try and get it for the entire episode. Yeah, I didn't really like this episode when I watched Gumball the first time. I give this episode like a fucking 4 out of 10. Next, we got The Robot. Gumball decides to help Bobbert and tries to help Bobbert act like a real boy. However, it soon becomes a battle for his very identity when the robot plots to take over his life. Oh fuck. This is just an episode where a character tries to impersonate another character. Good-ish episode. I'd give it like a the robot tries to pretty much impersonate Gumball after Gumball teaches the robot. I give this episode like a 4 out of 10. It's not that good. Next, we got the picnic. During a school field trip, Gumball and Darwin ignore their teacher's warning to go around a dangerous forest and instead traverse through it. Hopelessly lost, they must use what very little survival skills they have to escape. This is just an episode where Gumball and Darwin get lost in a big forest on a school field trip. Yeah, and they try to get out of it. 6 out of 10. It's a classic. I gotta rush through this shit. We are at 15 minutes and we're still on the first season. I gotta go fast. Oh, fuck. The Goons. Anais tries to dumb down in order to have fun with her brothers and father. Gumball, feeling left out, sets up a race in order to win his father back. This is just an episode where all the characters are being really dumb, and Anais wants to be dumb as well to hang out with them, and then yeah, there's a whole dumb race to find out who's dumb. It's pretty shit, this episode. 3 out of 10. I didn't like it. Next we got The Secret. When Gumball discovers that Darwin is hiding a terrible secret that is about him, he vows to do whatever it takes to find out whatever it is. Yeah, this is just an episode where when Darwin has a big secret from Gumball, and Gumball does really weird shit to find out what it is. It ends up at the end of the episode, the secret is something about the sandwich that Gumball made Darwin. Um, uh, Darwin said it was great when it was just good, or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It was kind of good. Next, we got The Sock. Mr. Small teaches Gumball and Darwin various ways of becoming more honest. Literally, this is just an episode where Mr. Small uses different strategies to try and make Gumball and Darwin honest. Yeah, it explained it very well. Yeah, it's a therapist kind of episode. I give this episode like a 4 out of 10. It's not that episode-y, you know? Next, we got The Genius. While Darwin with what? With Darwin taken to an institute for geniuses, Gumball tries to become smart with help from his brain in order to join him. Meanwhile, Nicole and Richard cope with the possibility of never seeing Darwin again by bringing in Rocky, the school janitor. Yeah, this is just an episode where Darwin is taken in because he's smart to like this institute stuff because he's really smart. And then pretty much everyone else is grieving because they've lost Darwin. He's gone away. And they don't think they'll ever see him again. So pretty much they want to get him back. So that's the episode, pretty much. They want to see Darwin again, or they're grieving over Darwin. I give this episode like a 5 out of 10. It's okay. Not the best episode, though. Next, we got The Poltergeist. Richard believes that the house is haunted when Gumball allows Mr. Robinson to live in the attic without telling him. This is an episode where Gumball and Darwin find Mr. Robinson in the attic, and they need to get rid of him because their dad thinks the house is haunted, and it's scaring him. Funny episode. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Mustache. Gumball and Darwin develop a strange growth spurt and experience the highs and lows of being adults. Yeah, this is such a classic for season 1. Yeah, this is pretty much a skit on testosterone. When boys have testosterone, they go bald, they grow a mustache, they get really hairy. It's literally a skit on that. Gumball and Darwin have some, and they get really hairy. That's the episode. It's very much a classic. 7 out of 10. It's a classic for season 1. Next, we got The Date. Gumball learns how to date so he can go out on a date with Penny. It later turns out, however, that he's going to a pet funeral, not a date. This is just an episode where Gumball gets invited to his girlfriend's house, and he has to attend a pet funeral, and it's really fucked up. 4 out of 10. Not the best. Next, we got The Club. When Gumball turns down an offer to join the Rejects Club, they seek to enact revenge against him. This is just an episode where Gumball needs to join a club because everyone else is in a club. So he eventually gets invited to join this thing called the Rejects Club, which is a club full of nerds and stuff. And Gumball doesn't want to join it, so they try and ruin Gumball's life, pretty much. I give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's good seeing what they would do to him. Next, we got The Wand. After Richard finds a toy magic wand in his cereal box, Gumball and Darwin help Richard believe in magic again. Literally, this is just Gumball and Darwin teach their dad that magic can come from this wand that they find in a cereal box. That's the episode. I give it like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got the ape. Miss Simeon cozies up to Gumball and his family in order to win an award. I remember this episode, Miss Simeon, like, wants an award for, like, being a nice teacher or something. I can barely remember this episode. But yeah, has to be nice to Gumball's family. I give this episode like a 4 out of 10. I can barely fucking remember it though. Next, we got the car. Gumball and Darwin are eager enough to do numerous chores at Mr. Robinson's house until they accidentally destroy his car. Um, so pretty much Mr. Robinson gets a new car. Gumball and Darwin accidentally destroy it, causing them to get in lots of trouble, and they need to try and fix it. Yeah, 5 out of 10. Not the best. Next, you got the curse. Gumball's good day turns from bad to worse throughout his school day, much to the point where he believes he's cursed. This is just an episode where Gumball tries to get rid of his curse because he thinks he's got a curse because bad things keep happening to him. Yeah, and he gets worried, so he tries to prevent these bad things from happening to him by lifting this supposed curse. Yeah. I'd give this like a 6 out of 10. It's kind of a classic for season 1. I remember watching it a lot of times. Next, we got the microwave. Gumball takes every gross thing he can find and creates a creature with a cannibalistic appetite. Yeah, this is an episode where they pretty much turn a lump of shit into a living creature. And, well, they pretty much raise it, and then it starts eating everyone, and it's pretty chaotic. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Alright, next we got the meddler. Seeing Gumball in need of attention, Nicole hangs out with him at school, which becomes increasingly embarrassing for her son. Yeah, this is an episode where Gumball's mum comes to school with him, gets really embarrassed, and he wants to stop it from happening, but she won't leave. 4 out of 10. It's not very good. Next we got the helmet. Um, Fuck. The family starts to fall apart after they all think Gumball's lucky helmet is actually lucky. There's an episode where Gumball gets a helmet, he thinks it's lucky, everyone else thinks it's lucky, and then they start getting jealous, and the family starts falling apart. Yeah. Fucking 5 out of 10. Not that memorable though. Next we got the fight, which is the season 1 finale. Tina Rex demands to have a fight with Gumball. Yeah, and Gumball gets really scared. Yeah. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Okay. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay. Hang on. I gotta do something now. What? Okay. Alrighty. So, yeah, that's all of season 1. Now, let's move on to season 2. I got through that in 23 minutes. I'm very happy about that. Hang on. Let me just. Alright, season 2. I gotta get through this in hopefully 10 minutes. Because I just did the math. This video will be 2 hours long. I don't want that to happen. So, let's get through this. There is really 37. How many? 40 episodes. Oh, fuck. Okay, let's get through it. The remote. The Watersons want to watch their shows only to discover that they all come on at the same time and the family fights for the remote. This is an episode where everyone in the family wants the TV remote so they can control the TVs themselves and, well, they can put on the show that they want to watch. Because, well, everyone's fighting for the remote because they need to put on the show. Yeah. I can't explain it better. 5 out of 10. It was a good episode. Next, we got the Colossus. Gumball and Darwin help Hector be less boring after he refuses their Elmo Plus friend request and visit his home, only to learn that Hector must be kept boring for the good of Elmo. Who the fuck is Hector? Oh, the big giant man. Yeah, pretty much. They need to keep Hector boring because otherwise he'll get angry and he'll destroy all of Elmo, which they don't want, obviously. So, I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Knight. Gumball is banned from seeing Penny after her father thinks the entire Waterson family is dysfunctional when passing by, and Tobias sweeps in to try and be Penny's love as well. This is just an episode where Gumball wants to hang out with Penny, study with her, while Tobias is fighting over her. Yeah, because Tobias is a pain in the ass. And while her father thinks that Gumball is stupid. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's a classic for season 2. Next, we got the fridge. Nicole begins recording the other family members' success on a chart hanging on the fridge. And when she finds out Gumball has not achieved anything, she begins pushing him into being a success. This is just an episode where pretty much she pushes the entire family to being successful by doing like a paintball match and stuff. I give this episode like a 4 out of 10. Next, we got the flower. Gumball is overcome with jealousy when he believes Leslie is dating Penny, which turns out to be a demonic entity. Pretty much, Gumball starts turning really crazy because he thinks Penny is dating Leslie. When she's not, they're just cousins. Yeah. I give this episode like a fucking 5 out of 10. Next, we got the banana. Darwin lends his pen to Banana Joe, but when it comes back, chewed, Gumball's thoughts turn to revenge. Pretty much in this episode, he gets a pen, lends it to Banana Joe, it's chewed. Gumball really wants to enact revenge on Banana Joe when he didn't do anything. It was chewed in the first place, and then Gumball feels really bad. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's good first time watching. Next, we got the phone. When Gumball buys his first cell phone, he gets mad about not getting any calls and gives it to Darwin, who foolishly gives out his number to their intense classmate Ocho. When Darwin gets addicted to the phone, Gumball takes the phone and accidentally sends an insulting message to Ocho, getting the three into a fight. This is just an episode where they get a phone, they accidentally insult a really aggressive classmate, and it all turns to shit when they get attacked by the classmate at one point in the episode and they almost die. I'd give this episode like a fucking 6 out of 10. It's really good first time watching. Next, we got the job. Richard gets a job as a pizza delivery man, which worries Nicole when at the same time strange things begin to occur around the neighborhood. When it becomes apparent that Richard has disrupted the balance of the universe by getting a job, his family desperately tries to get him fired. Yeah, this is just an episode where Richard gets a job. It turns to chaos when they believe that Richard having a job causes the world to kind of just crumble and turn to shit. And they try to get rid of his job, and it really turns pretty fucking chaotic. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It's really good. Next we got Halloween. Carrie takes Gumball, Darwin, and Anais to a real haunted house party on Halloween. Pretty much this episode is set on Halloween. The ghost girl takes Gumball, Darwin, and their little sister, Anais, to a haunted house when they drink a ghost potion to turn them into ghosts, and then it all turns to shit when they drink too much of it and they're stuck as ghosts forever. Yeah, pretty much, and they need to fix that issue. This episode I'd give like a 7 out of 10. It's a classic. Next we got the treasure. Gumball, Darwin, and Anais try to solve an adventurous mystery of why their family cannot afford anything besides cheap knockoffs and nondescript groceries. Yeah, this is just an episode where they try and figure out a giant mystery where they can't afford shit because their dad bought something in the past and they want to try and figure out what he bought. That's the episode. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Next we got, hang on, the apology. Gumball and Darwin are owed apologies by Miss Simeon after they are falsely accused of insulting her, but she stubbornly refuses to give them and goes to great lengths to prove that they are bad kids. When that does not work, she tries to frame them instead, which gets her in deep trouble with Principal Brown. Yeah, this is just an episode where pretty much Gumball and Darwin harass Miss Simeon for an apology when she doesn't want to give it to him. So yeah, I give this episode like a 3 out of 10. It's not memorable at all, and it's pretty shit. Next, we got the words. Darwin is too polite to speak his mind, so Gumball teaches him to be more direct. But this backfires when Darwin starts insulting everyone in the school. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is just an episode where Darwin does not know what to say to people, so Gumball teaches him what to say to people, and it's always really rude. 4 out of 10. Next, we got the skull. Clayton accidentally. I'm just gonna say what this episode is. Pretty much, they meet a kid called Clayton. The description is way too long. Yeah. So they meet a kid called Clayton. He lies a lot, and pretty much, he tells a lie about a kid with a skull as a face and shit. He's really big, and pretty much Clayton tries to make everyone believe that he is really cool and a very popular kid in the school, and that's his goal. When he isn't, he's really shit. Yeah, I give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the bet. When Bobbit becomes Gumball's servant for a day, Gumball uses the fact that robots obey every single command to his advantage. What? Yeah, I think Gumball just uses Bobbit as a servant in this episode. I give it like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got Christmas. A homeless man voiced by Brian Blessed, believed to be Santa Claus, gets accidentally run over by the Watersons during a visit to Elmore. So it is up to them to save Christmas. Yeah. This episode premiered a day before in the UK. Okay, so in this episode, pretty much they accidentally hit Santa Claus with their car, making Santa Claus a homeless man. So then they try and bring this homeless man back to becoming Santa. That's the episode. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Watch. Gumball and Darwin are forced to retrieve an old family watch from an elderly neighbor, Marvin Finkelheimer. Pretty much, their dad gives them a really old watch from their family. They don't want it, so they give it to an old man. And then pretty much, yeah, they really need to get it back because it's worth a bucket load of money. So, yeah, I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got The Bumpkin. Envious of his rustic lifestyle, Gumball invites Idaho over to teach the Watersons how to live outside. Yeah, pretty much Gumball just really wants to be healthy and lives outside, so he gets his potato friend to teach him how to do it. I'd give this episode like a 4 out of 10. It's not that memorable. Next, we got the Flakers. After bullying on him while getting chased by Tina, Gumball and Darwin have a falling out, and the only way they can make it up is with the help of Anais. All of them have to look after the house and an anesthetic addled Richard while Nicole's at work. What? Oh, yeah, this is just an episode where Gumball and Darwin have a big falling out. I can't explain it better. I do not remember this episode at all. 4 out of 10. I'm sorry. Next, we got The Authority. Richard is put in the hospital after trying to fix the satellite television in the house, so Granny Jojo moves in and safeguards the entire house, causing Gumball and Darwin and Anais to become fat and intelligent like Richard. Pretty much, Richard gets sent to hospital, then their mum, no, fuck. Richard's mum pretty much makes the entire house safe, and then turns the kids into Richards. That's the episode. 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Virus. An evil virus seeks vengeance on Gumball, Darwin, and Terry after they wipe out his army of bacteria. Yeah, this is an episode where a virus is loose in the school and they have no idea, and this girl made out of paper is really the only one who knows, and she tries to fix it and stop the virus from killing everyone. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good in season 2. Next, we got The Pony. Gumball and Darwin rent a film to watch with Anais, but they keep running into distractions on their way home. Pretty much, they rent a movie, and when they're trying to get back home to watch the movie with their little sister, they keep running into shit that keeps making it slower. And their little sister starts getting more and more mad at them. Yeah, it's a decent episode. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. It is definitely a classic. Next, we got The Hero. Richard becomes saddened when he hears his sons at school thanking him. Oh, yeah. Pretty much, this is an episode where Gumball and Darwin at school talk shit about their dad, say that he's kind of a bad father, and then he gets really sad for the rest of the day, and then pretty much, yeah, the whole thing. Um, and then they owe an apology to their dad. That's the episode. Literally, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10. Hang on. Next, we got The Dream. Gumball holds a grudge against Darwin after seeing him kiss Penny in a dream. Yeah, this is just a very much a classic where pretty much Gumball gets really pissed off at Darwin when he sees that he kissed his girlfriend in a dream, and then they try to alter the dream to make it so it never happened. Yeah, this episode 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. Next, we got The Sidekick. Gumball and Darwin's attempts to get a game back from Tobias are hampered when Darwin begins to feel like a mere sidekick to Gumball and decides to be the leader of by abducting Tobias's mother. What? Yep, Tobias pretty much keeps a game from Gumball and Darwin. He won't give it back. They want it back. And then Darwin starts to feel like a sidekick, so he tries to not feel like a sidekick. That's the episode. Hang on. Wait. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got the photo. Gumball school photos that all look bad, so Alan tries to teach him how to look better in a photo. Pretty much, Gumball's just really pissed off because all of his school photos look really shit. So he tries to get the balloon person to help him look good because the balloon person looks really good in all of the photos that they take. And then Gumball pretty much starts wasting the photo guy's time. And yeah, it's a decent episode. 5 out of 10. Next, we got the tag. Richard and Mr. Robinson are both put under house arrest after fighting over a trash can. And after trying to continue the fight through Gumball and Darwin, the duo take it upon themselves to end the feud. This is literally just an episode where pretty much Richard and Mr. Robinson get put under house arrest, and well, they try to get out of house arrest. And well, they have a giant feud for this episode over a fucking trash can. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's quite funny. Next, we got The Storm. A plot to improve Alan and Carmen's relationship backfires, and Gumball has to reunite them. This is just an episode where Alan and Carmen, which is the balloon person and the cactus person, have a big feud and break up, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then Gumball and Darwin try to fix it. I give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Lesson. Gumball and Darwin resort to cheating on their math test after procrastinating on studying for it. Fuck. Resort to cheating on their math test after procrastinating on studying for it the day before and end up receiving a detention over spring break from Principal Brown, which is similar to a maximum security prison and a home to schools worst students. What? I think this is just an episode where they get a detention because they didn't study. I'd give this episode like a 3 out of 10. I cannot remember it. Next, got The Game. In a parody of Jumanji, the Watersons must survive a gaming session of Gumball and Darwin's old board game, Dodge or Dare. Pretty much, this is just an episode where Gumball and Darwin pull out an old game that they made a while ago, and they get their family to play it, but their family doesn't know that it's really dangerous. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. Next, we got The Limit. Nicole gets upset with the family at the supermarket when they attempt to get candy, sending them to the car as punishment. Each time they try to rebel. Their refusal to give up pushes her to fuck. Oh my god. Try to rebel. Their refusal to give up pushes her too far and makes her lose her sanity. Yeah, this is just an episode where they really want chocolate. Their mum doesn't want them to get chocolate, so then pretty much she gets really angry and starts going really fucking insane. I'd give this episode like a fucking 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Voice. After mocking everyone on social media, Gumball and Darwin receive a threatening email from somebody anonymous. The pair set out to apologize to everyone at school to avoid consequences. Yeah, this is just an episode where they get an email from a suspicious dude and they get really scared and they try to figure out who gave them the really scary email and they want to try and apologize to them before they kill them. I give this episode like a fucking 8 out of 10. It's really good. Next, we got The Promise. Darwin wants to delay a promise to play video games with Gumball in order to ease tensions with Banana Joe, but Gumball wants his own promise fulfilled so much that he keeps Darwin trapped against his own will. Yeah, this is just like a big promise thing. They have promises with each other. I can barely remember it. Fucking 4 out of 10. I'm sorry. Next, we got The Castle. Richard takes charge of the house in Nicole's absence, but his lack of rules soon attracts an uninvited guests. What? I think it's just an episode where they get harassed by people that aren't welcome in their house because Richard is leading the house. I'd give this episode like a 4 out of 10 as well. Next, we got The Boombox. Gumball and Darwin try to help Duke speak pop properly, but they get too caught up in arguing over how Duke should be treated. Yet Duke is the jukebox, and they want to try and make him speak English instead of beatboxing. I'd give this episode like a maybe a 5 out of 10. Next, we got The Tape. Gumball and Darwin film a series of skits with their video camera, but it fails. This is the very first episode of Gumball I ever watched. 10 out of 10. Fucking hilarious when first watching. Um, well, if you're a kid, it's very funny. Yeah, this is just an episode of a bunch of tapes that they recorded, and it's just a montage of really funny shit that they made that's really bad. I'd give this episode 10 out of 10. Next, we got the sweaters. To their uninterest, Gumball and Darwin's reputations are challenged by two human students named Carton and Troy from a neighboring high school, after a new girl named Sarah urges Gumball and Darwin to defend their honor. Pretty much, a new girl arrives named Sarah. She's an ice cream cone, and then pretty much she wants Gumball and Darwin to defend her against these two idiots who play tennis. Yeah. I'd give this episode like an 8 out of 10. It's a classic from season 2. Next, we got the internet. Gumball accidentally uploads a video of himself to Elmo's stream, which goes viral and must personally confront the internet to take it down. Yeah, Gumball uploads a really shitty, weird video. He wants the internet to take it down, but he needs to get access to the internet first. Yep, so he does. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the plan. Thinking that their mother is being courted by a man named Daniel Leonard, the Waterson siblings come up with a plan to save her, but end up wasting their time to try to devise it. Pretty much, this is just a whole episode with their imagination. They see something in their trash can, thinking that pretty much their mom is cheating on their dad with a guy named Daniel Leonard, and they try to stop Daniel Leonard from being a dickhead. That's the episode. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. It's a classic. Next, we got The World. The lives of the inanimate objects of Elmo are shown in a series of short skits. Yeah, this is just a bunch of little clips of funny things that the objects of Elmo do in their daily things. I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got the finale. In the send up of family sitcom clip show episodes and series finales, the Watersons are targeted by everyone in town for their past actions. Pretty much, this is just a episode where all the things that they've done in the past come back to them and haunt them, and pretty much they are about to end. Yeah, that's the episode. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It's a good finale for season 2. Yeah, that's season 2. Holy shit! Oh my god. We are 41 minutes. We are at 41 minutes. We're about to do season 3. At this rate, this video is going to be 2 hours long. Oh no. Yeah, hang on. Okay, time to do season 3. Holy shit. So this first episode has such a long synopsis, but such a simple thing for me to describe to you. Pretty much, Gumball and Darwin go through puberty, and their voices start changing, and they try to find out what is causing it. When at the end of the day, it's puberty. So yeah, I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It's a great way to start off season 3. Next, we got the fan. Sarah the ice cream cone becomes Gumball and Darwin's obsessed with #1 fan. Yeah, this is just an episode where they find out that Sarah, the ice cream cone, has a giant crush on Gumball and Darwin, and they want to try and satisfy her and not make her depressed. This is an episode that I've watched multiple times before. I'd give it like a 5 or 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. All right. Season 3 is a very good season. Yeah. All right. Next, we got the coach. Elmore Junior High's new gym coach stands up to Jamie, who vows to get her street cred back by attacking the coach. Pretty much, this is an episode where they get a brand new coach at gym class, and they want to try and find out the secrets behind this brand new coach. Try to find out her personal life because she's fucking huge. I'd give this probably a 5 out of 10. Yeah, 5 out of 10. I don't know if the coach is a boy or a girl. I think it's a boy or something. I don't know. Yeah. Next, we got the joy. After being hugged by Richard one morning, Gumball and Darwin become mindlessly happy and end up spreading a zombie-like contagious joy virus across Elmore Junior High, which Miss Simeon must put an end to. Pretty much, Gumball and Darwin get hugged too much, where they become pretty much happy zombies. And if you get hugged by them, you also turn into a happy zombie. And it's kind of like a zombie apocalypse in Elmore Junior High. Miss Simeon wants to try and be the last survivor. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It is a classic. Next, we got the puppy. Gumball, Darwin, and Anais' long-awaited pet turns out to be an aggressive turtle that hates them. Yeah, this is just an episode where they get a pet. Their dad, instead of buying a dog, buys a weird-looking turtle, which really wants to kill them. I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got the recipe. Gumball and Darwin discover the secret behind their classmate Anton's immortality. but things go wrong when they end up producing multiple Anton clones, even an evil burnt one. Pretty much their classmate, who was a piece of toast, um, when he dies, he just instantly comes back to life, and they want to find out how it happens. And it turns out that his parents kind of just put a recipe into a toaster, causing him to come back to life. And pretty much they use it to make clones of their classmate, and it all turns to shit. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the name. When Gumball discovers his real name is Zack, he starts developing an evil alter ego who takes over him and his memories. Darwin and his family must save Gumball and his memory, changing it back to his legal name, Gumball, before Zack takes over completely. This is literally just an episode where Gumball um wants to change his name back to Zack, which makes his ego really fucked up, which makes him think he's really cool. The name Zack makes him think he's really cool. So they try to stop and bring his name back to Gumball. So I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. It's not the best. Next, we got the extras. I'm not even going to explain the plot. This episode is just about the background characters of Elmore, and it's a bunch of singing and shit. It's really bad. I'd give this episode like a 2 out of 10. I hate that episode. Next, we got the gripes. Gumball and Darwin complaining goes too far when people mistake them for charity cases, and it's up to them to reveal the mix-up. Pretty much, Gumball and Darwin are really sad one day, making people think that they're poor and homeless. So then the entire of Elmore start pretty much making them feel happy and want to give them shit. So then Gumball and Darwin have to try and make themselves seem really poor. Yeah, I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we've got The Vacation. After Nicole tells her family a scary story on a camping trip, the events of the story begin to come true when their car breaks down on a desert road and they are taken in by a strange monster who lives with his mother. Pretty much, this is an episode where they go on a vacation, um, and they want to. Oh, not they want to. They pretty much their car breaks down, which wasn't supposed to happen. Wait, stop. Fuck. Let me start again. Fuck. Sorry. Um, they go on a vacation. Their mum tells a scary story in the car, and then the events of that story start turning true, pretty much. So this scary dude comes to the car after it breaks down, and then they think he's like a cannibal. I'd give this episode like a 8 out of 10. It's a classic in season 3. It's a good one. Next, we got The Fraud. Gumball and Darwin discover that Principal Brown's diploma is a fake, and Brown goes to great lengths to prevent his secret from being exposed. Pretty much, this is just an episode where they want to try and expose Principal Brown after they find out one of his biggest secrets, and he does everything to make sure he doesn't get exposed. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's not the best, but it's still good. Next, we got Gumball. Fuck. Next, we got The Void. Gumball, Darwin, and Mr. Small investigate the disappearance of Molly and soon find themselves sucked into the Void, mysterious dimension containing all the mistakes the world has ever made. This is an episode that has so much to do with the lore of the Amazing World of Gumball. Pretty much, this is your very first introduction to the Void, which you will see so many times throughout the Amazing World of Gumball. Pretty much what it is it's a giant kind of static dimension where all the mistakes that the world has ever made live. They get sent there, or they just kind of stay there. Um, yeah, and this is your very first introduction when Gumball, Darwin, and Mr. Small try to find their missing classmate who has been sent to the void. Yeah, I'd give this episode like a 8 out of 10 because it's good. Next, we've got The Boss. When Mr. Robinson suffers a life-threatening accident, Gumball and Darwin help Mr. Robinson's son, Rocky, get a more respectable job to pay for the operation. But effects of working a white-collar job turn Rocky into a soulless drone. Pretty much this is an episode where Rocky gets a job, and it ends up being kind of like a curse he can't get out of. I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got The Move. Gumball and Darwin attempt to cure Clayton of his compulsive lying, but their refusal to believe in his capability of performing a secret martial arts move leads to Bias laying unconscious after he attempts to prove it. Um, yeah, this is just another Clayton episode where they try to make him stop lying. I don't really like the Clayton episodes. They're kind of shit. I give this episode like a 3 out of 10. Next, we got The Law. Donut Sheriff takes Gumball and Darwin along with him for the day in an attempt to show them how cool cops can be, but he ends up too excited and loses his job. when Felicity causes a breakdown in law. However, it is up to the three to stop her and save the day. Pretty much, this is just an episode where the the cop dude, the donut dude, tries to prove that being a cop is cool. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. This episode, 7 out of 10 is good. Next, we got the allergy. Darwin starts sneezing nonstop whenever there's stupid stuff, and the family theorizes that he must be now allergic to stupidity. They have to find a cure for Darwin before the latter's sneezes becomes explosive to the point where he'll end up sneezing Elmore off the map. Pretty much, this is just an episode where Gumball gets a brand new allergy of something, and it starts becoming really explosive. And it's not stupidity. There's actually a feather in his gill. Yeah, so they think that he needs to go to a desert or something. Next we got, oh yeah, and I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Next we got the mothers. On Mother's Day, Tobias, Banana Joe, Gumball, and Darwin put their respective mothers, Jackie, Banana, Barbara, and Nicole, through a series of tests to determine who has the world's greatest mum. Pretty much, this is just an episode where it's Mother's Day and they try to prove that their mom is the best mom ever. Yeah, 6 out of 10. Next, we got the password. Richard changes the password to the Waterson children's computer at Nicole's insistence. But after Gumball and Darwin decipher the password as NIEs from the inputted hint favorite child, they start sucking up to Richard in various ways, all of which end up unintentionally injuring him. This is just an episode where the computer password has changed, and Gumball and Darwin really want to find out what the computer password is. And they want to find out who the favorite child is as well. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It's good. Next, we got the procrastinators. Nicole tasks Gumball and Darwin with taking out the trash before 5 p.m., which they take great measures to avoid doing. This is a scale on the Terminator. Pretty much, in this episode, Gumball and Darwin are tasked to put out the trash by their mum, and well, they procrastinate. They do a game of chess, they do shit around the house, and the only thing they don't do is take out the trash. And then, well, their mum gets home and it's kind of a catastrophe. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the shell. After accidentally headbutting her during a school play and causing a crack to form in her shell, which lands him in trouble with Penny's father, Gumball urges Penny to break from it and reveal her true form. Pretty much, this is an episode where Penny's shell gets cracked, she breaks from her shell, and then there's a whole catastrophe with Penny running away thinking that she's ugly. This is a good episode, pretty much a classic for season 3. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the burden. Gumball and Darwin are left in charge of Elmore Junior High's pet, hamster, Chris Morris, over the weekend, and come to appreciate its presence for different reasons. When they discover that the hamster is a clump of hair from Principal Brown, the duo go to school to retrieve the real Chris Morris. Pretty much, this is an episode where Gumball and Darwin are tasked to take care of the hamster, and it all turns to shit. That's all I'm going to say. 5 out of 10. Next, we got the bros. Darwin becomes jealous of Gumball and Penny's new relationship and sets out to find information on Penny and intrude between the two in the hopes of breaking them up. Yeah, this is just an episode where Gumball and Penny have like a love thingy, and Darwin wants to break them up because he's jealous. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the mirror. Gumball refuses to forward an email purportedly sent by a ghost against Darwin's advice. When a curse begins to take effect and their family is dragged into another dimension, Gumball and Darwin seek Carrie's help to save them and lift the curse. This is an episode where pretty much they accidentally summon a really fucked up ghost, and they use Carrie to help them get rid of it. Yeah. Next, we've got the man. Richard is shocked to learn that his mother, Granny Jojo, is dating Louie the Mouse and tries to break them up. Literally, that is the synopsis. I don't need to say anything else. 6 out of 10. Next, we got the pizza. A frustrated Larry quits all his jobs thanks to the Watersons' anger and stupidly making his jobs difficult. And things get worse when the town becomes a post-apocalyptic war zone and the townspeople turn savage. Yeah, this is an episode where Larry quits all of his jobs and everything turns to chaos. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the lie. In the month of January, Gumball and Anais invent a new holiday called Sluzzle Tag to counter the January doldrums. Yeah, this is an episode where pretty much they pretty much invent a new holiday, which is just like Christmas, but weirder. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the butterfly. Gumball inadvertently puts the butterfly effect into motion throughout Elmore when he realizes a human-faced butterfly from a jar in Miss Simeon's class. Pretty much, there's an episode where Gumball gets really scared of the human-faced butterfly, and he sets it free, and eventually it turns into a tornado. I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got the question. After going on a sugar rush, Gumball and Darwin experience oneness with the universe and try to find the answer to the meaning of life. Yeah, literally, that's the episode. They want to try and find out the meaning of life. Yeah. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Saint. Sick of Alan's saintly behavior, Gumball sets out to test the limits of Alan's goody-goody personality by ruining his life. But when that fails, he decides to be just as positive as and charitable as Alan. Yeah, this is an episode where Gumball pretty much wants to push Balloon Man's limits. Yeah. Next, we got The Friend. Oh, yep, The Saint, I'll give like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got The Friend. After no one comes to Anais' birthday and Anais reveals that she has no friends, Gumball and Darwin help their sister make up an imaginary friend who turns out to be all too real and wanted by the authorities. That's the episode. She pretty much, she makes up a brand new imaginary friend who is actually real and wanted by the cops. Yeah, because he's done some pretty fucked up shit. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Oracle. During a yard sale at the Banana House, Gumball happens upon a collection of paintings done by Banana Barbara, all which have been finished before the events portrayed in them occurred. And pretty much, yep. So this is an episode where, pretty much Gumball finds out that Banana Joe's mum can predict the future, and she's got a painting of him standing in a mall naked, and he wants to prevent that from happening. And yeah, because she can predict the future. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's pretty good. Next, we got The Safety. After watching a scary safety video, Darwin develops an unhealthy obsession with safety, which spreads throughout Elmore and culminates in a plan for world domination. I'd give this episode like a Oh yeah. Pretty much what happens is Darwin becomes really aware of safety and wants to make sure everyone in Elmore is safe because he gets traumatized by a video he's shown in class. Yeah, I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's pretty weird. Next, we got The Society. Gumball believes that the reason for his bad luck around Elmore Junior High is his exclusion from a non-existent secret school society, and his determination to infiltrate it irritates those around him. Oh god. Pretty much this episode is where Gumball has bad luck, and he thinks the reason for it is because there is a school society that is causing him to have bad luck. Yeah, but there isn't. He's completely incorrect. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's okay. Next, we got the spoiler. Gumball and Darwin must wait a week to watch a horror film entitled The Screaming, but the former struggles to last the week without hearing spoilers of the film's plot. Pretty much, Gumball and Darwin want to see a horror movie, but they don't want spoilers for it. That's the episode. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got The Countdown. Miss Simeon threatens to expel Gumball and Darwin from school if they turn up late again, so they race a clock in order to arrive on time. However, Gumball accidentally freezes time, and the duo travel through time and space in order to get to school on time. Yeah, this is an episode where pretty much Gumball and Darwin go on an adventure through time and space to try and get to school without being expelled. I'd give this episode fucking 8 out of 10. It's good. Very good. Next, we got The Nobody. After Gumball and Darwin got grounded by Nicole after blaming them for stealing their family's stuff, they search for the culprit who sneaked in their house, which turns out to be Rob, who had lost his memory. Yep, this is an episode where they find out that Rob has been living in their house, and they want to try and figure out how they can get him out of their house. I'd give this episode fucking 7 out of 10. Next, we got The Downer. Gumball family tries to cheer up Gumball, who is in an inexplicably bad mood, and things get worse when Gumball finds himself the last person in Elmore after wishing everyone would go away, and his misery comes to life and consumes Elmore. Pretty much, yeah, this is an episode where Gumball's wish comes to light, where he wishes that everyone would go away, and they did. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Egg. Anais plays a date with Billy Parham. Has a play date with Billy Parham, but Nicole must contend with Billy's snobbish mother, Felicity. Pretty much, yeah, Anais has a play date with a kid, a blue egg kid, and pretty much he's really annoying, and then starts to make friends with him, while Anais's mother, Nicole, has to deal with blue egg kid's mum, and she's really annoying. Yeah, so I'd give this episode like a fucking 5 out of 10. Next we got the egg, and that's the one I just did. Okay, next we got the triangle. Gumball grows jealous of Darwin's new talent at playing a Swanee whistle, tries to sabotage him only to be banned from the marching band. Yeah, pretty much. Gumball is jealous that Darwin can play a instrument and Gumball can't, and he wants to make it so Darwin, um, doesn't play in the marching band, which will eventually happen. And yeah, pretty much Gumball's really pissed off. I'd give this episode like a fucking 6 out of 10. It's good. Next, we got the season finale, The Money. When Richard loses the family's money again, Larry the clerk offers them the chance to perform in a commercial for Joyful Burger to get paid with money, but Gumball, who loves the idea of selling out, refuses to do commercial and urges his family to keep their dignity in the face of losing their house, their car, and their show. Yeah, that's the episode. Pretty much, Gumball doesn't want to sell out, but they really need money, so they get pissed off at Gumball. I'd give this episode like a fucking 7 out of 10. It's a good finale. Yeah, so that was season 3. Holy shit. We are 1 hour through the video. Oh my god. Whew. Alrighty, so now we're on season 4. Oh my god, I have to rush through this. I got stuff to do. So, yeah, episode 1, The Return. It's the first day back to school for Gumball, Darwin, and Anais, but the three are nowhere to be found, and when Richard discovers that he has left them in a bull pit at the mall that is about to be shipped to another country, Richard must prove that he's a good father by getting his kids to school without Nicole knowing. Pretty much, in this episode, the kids, pretty much are lost. Richard has to try and find them, and he goes on a big journey to try and find his kids. I'd give this episode like a 8 out of 10. It's fucking hilarious. Next, we got The Nemesis. Gumball and Darwin's sworn enemy Rob has been trying to get revenge on them ever since, but when all of his attempts fail, Gumball and Darwin decide to help him out and end up leading Rob to concoct a plan to flood the entire town. This is just an episode where they tried to help Rob out to become a villain, like he said he was going to become, and well, they help him. That's the episode. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. It's not the best. Next, we've got the crew. Gumball and Darwin decide to join the senior citizens crew after determining that they are the most hardcore gang in Elmore, but get in over their heads when they think one of them wants their former colleague eliminated for leaving them. Pretty much, this is just an episode where Gumball and Darwin are being silly and think that the elderly people of Elmore are the strongest people in Elmore, and they want to try and become a part of their crew. Pretty much, I'd give this episode like a 8 out of 10. Fucking hilarious. Next, we got The Others. When Gumball and Darwin learn that Anais is an 8th grader and Elmore Junior High has more students than the ones they usually encounter, the show turns into a teen drama called The So-Called World of Claire, about a mopey green-haired girl named Claire Cooper saying goodbye to her friends before moving away, and Gumball and Darwin keep shoehorning themselves into Claire's story so they can give her a happy ending. This is just an episode where pretty much they find out about this girl called Claire that they didn't know about before, and they want to try and make her life better, and they want to try and just teach her about stuff. And yeah, they also find out that their sister is in a higher grade than them. Yeah, funny episode. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It has a fucking hilarious scene involving glass. Alright, next we got The Signature. When Richard learns of Granny JoJo's plans to marry Louis, whom she had been dating since season three's The Man, he decides to keep Louis from being his stepfather by adopting him as one of the kids. Things get sticker when Louis tricks Nicole into being adopted as his daughter, and Richard's estranged biological father, a rat named Frankie, returns to trick Richard into signing over the house to him. Pretty much, this episode is a whole trick thing when pretty much Richard's mother is about to get married. Um, Pretty much this whole episode is just kind of people tricking each other into adopting them or signing over a house to them. It's a funny episode. I give it like a 6 out of 10. Next, we've got The Check. Gumbledore and Anais are delighted when Grandpa Louis gives them a check for $5,000, but the family soon fights over how to spend it. Yeah, this is just an episode where pretty much Grandpa Louis, the person that I talked about in the past 2 episodes, pretty much gives Gumball, Darwin, and Anais a check that is apparently worth $5,000, and well, they get all excited and want to spend it. Yeah, I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we've got the pests. Gumball and Darwin help Anais when she's being harassed by Billy Parham, who's still sore of Anais breaking off their friendship. Pretty much, Anais didn't want to date Billy Parham, who's the little blue egg dude, and pretty much Billy then bullies her, so Gumball has to do something about Billy bullying his little sister. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the sale. Gumball and Darwin are crushed to learn that Mr. Robinson is selling his house and moving away, and when trying to make their final moments together last doesn't work, the duo decide to sabotage the sale. Yeah, in this episode, yeah, Mr. Robinson sells his house. Well, he's about to sell it, and pretty much Gumball and Darwin need to make it so people will hate the house when visiting it, so they don't buy it, and so Mr. Robinson can keep staying there. It's a funny episode. I'd give it like a 8 out of 10. Season 4 has some really good episodes. Next, we got the gift. It's Masami's birthday, and Elmore Junior High students race to get her the perfect gift, as Masami's father is the head of the Rainbow Factory, and if his daughter doesn't have a great present, they could get run out of town. Yeah, this is just an episode where they try and get Masami, who's a cloud girl, the perfect present. That's that's the episode. Just so they don't have to move houses. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. Next, got the parking. On a family day at Elmore Mall, the Watersons struggle to find a parking space. The entire episode, this is definitely the worst episode of season 4. Literally, the entire episode is just them trying to find a parking space. That is it. That's the entire thing. It's really, really boring. I'd give this episode like a 3 out of 10. Next, we got the routine. Richard's trip to the store to find mayonnaise for the family's burger night turns into a never-ending story meets Conan the Barbarian-style quest where he squares off against Tina's father. Yeah, this is just an episode where basically Richard needs to go run some errands, and then it turns into very like medieval and mystical and fantasy. It turns really funny because well, Richard loves D&D and stuff. It's good. Next, we got the up. Oh, I give the routine like 6 out of 10. Next, we got the upgrade. Gumball and Darwin upgrade Bobbert and discover that his new operating system is full of buggy and useless applications and is prone to crashing. Pretty much, this is just where they try to fix their friend Bobbert. They try to upgrade him, they try to make him better because his old system is really bad. I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got the comic. Sarah G. Latto, the gelato cone from the sweaters, and the fan, who obsessively draws fan art of Gumball and Darwin. Pretty much the ice cream cone that has a giant crush on Gumball and Darwin. I talked about her past episodes. Pretty much, she creates a fanfic comic of Gumball as a superhero named Laserheart, prompting Gumball to act like one in real life. This is just where she writes a comic about Gumball being a superhero, and then Gumball pretty much tries to become that superhero described in the comic, but he tries to become the superhero in real life. That's the episode. It's a good episode. I'd give it like a 8 out of 10. Pretty good. Next, we got the romantic, fearing fearing that she may be sick of him due to a missing emoji on her message to him. Gumball sends Penny a romantic quest to rekindle their love, which turned into a disaster when Penny gets lost in the woods and is attacked by its wildlife. Yeah, this is just an episode where pretty much Gumball sends Penny on a quest, a mysterious quest, and she has to try and figure it out for their friend, well, for their relationship, pretty much. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's pretty good, but not the best. Hang on, wait, how many episodes is there? Oh, Zam, there's 40. There's 40. Uh-oh. Okay, the uploads. Gumball, wait, hang on. Yeah, the uploads. Gumball gets hooked on watching Elmore stream, the show's version of YouTube, despite Darwin's warning, and viewers get a look at the different online videos the residents of Elmore have uploaded on the internet. Yeah, pretty much in this episode, they get addicted to the internet and they spend years watching funny little clips on Elmore stream. I'd give this episode like a 9 out of 10. It's a classic. It has so many funny clips. I just love it. Next, we got The Apprentice. The Apprentice. Gumball tags along with Penny's father, Patrick, as he prepares to pitch plans for a new hospital to the CEO of Chanex, and ends up roping him into a golf game with the CEO. Yeah, pretty much this is just an episode where Gumball goes on a golf trip with CEO, and Penny's father for, well, Penny. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the hug. Oh, fuck. To prove to Darwin that he can be unpredictable, Gumball decides to hug the first person he sees, an anthropomorphic hot dog, and Gumball ends up in over his head when he and the hot dog guy can't stop bumping into each other. This is just an episode where pretty much it starts off the saga of Gumball and the hot dog guy being very awkward to each other for the entire show. It's funny. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got the Wicked. After Mrs. Robinson frames Gumball and Darwin for feeding coffee and produce laced nuts to the squirrels, Darwin tries to prove to Gumball that Mrs. Robinson is a good person underneath her destructive sociopathic tendencies. But when Darwin sees just how evil she is, the duo decide to catch her committing Grand Theft Auto. Pretty much, in this episode, they prove that Mrs. Robinson, Mr. Robinson's wife, is really fucking evil and fucked up. I'd give this episode like a 9 out of 10. It's so fucking good. Next, we've got the traitor. When Alan allegedly ditches Gumball's dinner date with him, Gumball is desperate to track him down and make him pay for his betrayal, only to learn that Alan is taking his mother Jessica to the hospital for an organ transplant. Pretty much in this episode, Gumball has to have a dinner with Alan. Alan doesn't show up, so then he has to get his revenge, and he wants to ruin Alan's life because of it. Because the balloon Alan is the balloon guy, and his mother is apparently getting an organ transplant, and that's why he couldn't go. And Gumball is like, oh shit. I'd give this episode like an 8 out of 10. It's good. Next, we got a 2-part episode called The Origins. This is literally just a half-hour episode of the first time Gumball and Darwin met. This is the origins of the Amazing World of Gumball. It's how Gumball met Darwin. Like, what happened. I'm not going to explain it further than that. That's the episode. I'd give this episode like a 9 out of 10. It's really sweet. It's a good episode. Next, we got the girlfriend. After seeing Alan and Carmen bond during her lunchtime bullying, Jamie decides that she needs a sweetheart and has her eyes on Darwin. This is another episode where Darwin is scared because he has a girlfriend. And it's Jamie this time, so he's extra scared. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the advice. Mr. Feels a little sad that he hasn't inspired the children of Elmore Junior High, so Gumball and Darwin try to lift his spirits and end up causing chaos and putting most of the students and faculty in the school infirmary and others in hospital after following Mr. Small's useless and bad advice. Pretty much, Mr. Small gives advice to Gumball and Darwin, and well, they start following it pretty shit. Good episode. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the signal. Mysterious satellite interruptions plaguing Elmore causes strain between Gumball and Darwin, while Richard tearfully has to part with his television set when he can't fix it. This is a weird episode where pretty much Gumball and Darwin and Richard experience glitching in their reality, and it causes some feuds and stuff in the episode. It's a good episode. It's very lore heavy, pretty much. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the parasite. Gumball and Darwin find out Anais made another new friend, a duck named Jody, but after reading her diary and seeing her interact with Jody, they begin to suspect that Anais' new friend is using her. This is just an episode where pretty much Anais makes a friend, and Gumball and Darwin think that friend is a parasite, trying to get into Anais' life to do stuff to her. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the love. After Bobbert confesses to Gumball and Darwin that he's fallen in love, a musical number and series of vignettes illustrate what love is and how the people of Elmore express it. Pretty much, Bobbert has fallen in love with something I can't remember. It's like a vacuum cleaner or something. And pretty much, Gumball and Darwin teach Bobbert about it. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the awkwardness. A simple run to the store for ketchup leads Gumball to once again encounter the hot dog guy from The Hug and try to get away from him. Yep, another hot dog guy episode. See? Pretty much, this is just another episode where Gumball and the hot dog guy have a bunch of awkward moments. Yeah, it happens a lot. I'd give this episode like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got the nest. Elmore residents are going missing, and the cause of these disappearances may be closer to home than the Watersons think. This is just an episode where a bunch of people go missing because of the turtle in season 3 that they adopted that eventually ran away, and pretty much it's returned and it has a bunch of babies and it's kidnapping people, and well, this episode is heavily based off of the movie The Gremlins. Yeah, it's a good episode. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the points. Gumball and Darwin do chores for Tobias, who's currently feeding his addiction to playing online games with in-app purchases in the hopes of earning points for cash. In this episode, pretty much Gumball and Darwin do Tobias's chores for him because they think they're getting a reward. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the bus. To teach the kids a lesson in not playing hooky from school, Rocky purposely drives past the school and picks up 4 hijackers: Principal Brown, Richard, Harold, and Dexter, who hold everyone hostage, but they end up running from the police. Yeah, in this episode, pretty much, they try to teach the kids a lesson for not going to school, but then, pretty much, then police actually think they're real kidnappers and hijackers. So yeah, it all turns to shit. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It had a Breaking Bad reference, which was pretty cool. Next, we got the night. The moon examines the dreams and nightmares of Elmore's residents. Pretty much, it just shows what goes on at night in Elmore. That's the best I can put it. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the misunderstandings. Gumball has a misunderstanding with Penny over where to meet during a lunch date, and his rush to the mall leads to a chain of misunderstandings with everyone he encounters. Pretty much, Gumball needs to get to a date with his girlfriend, but then pretty much everyone he runs into is distracting him and making him go slower, and is a bunch of misunderstandings, like it says. I'll give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the Roots. After seeing a sad Darwin stare at a fish tank at the mall pet store, Nicole and the rest of the family think Darwin is unhappy with living on land and try to reconnect him with his, what does that say, Piscine roots? Pretty much, this is an episode where they think Darwin is sad, like he wants to go back into the pond when he's not. He just wants a new fish tank, and pretty much, his family are trying to get him to go back into the water, and it's kind of a sad episode. I like this episode though. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Next, we got the blame. Hang on. After Billy Parham passes out from playing video games for the first time in his life, his mother, Felicity, moves to have all video games banned and encourages the children of Elmore to read instead. But the kids fight back with a performance showing how classic literature is rife with violent and morally dubious moments. Yeah, this is just an episode where pretty much Billy's um mother pretty much fuck, wait, hang on. Billy's mother sees that her son has passed out from playing video games, so she tries to ban video games. And then pretty much the kids try to fight back by saying that books and stuff are bad. So yeah, I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the slap. After Gumball learns that Tobias slaps the butt of everyone he greets, and and that Gumball is the only person to whom he hasn't done it, Gumball becomes obsessed with getting Tobias to slap him in the butt. This is literally just an episode where Gumball tries to get Tobias to slap his ass. Yeah, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the detective. I think in this send up of police procedural TV shows, specifically True Detective, Anais investigates the case of her missing Daisy the donkey doll. Yeah, this is an episode where Anais tries to figure out where her Daisy the donkey doll went. Yeah, I'd give it 8 out of 10. Next, we got the Fury. While rushing her kids to school, Nicole is reunited with an old rival and karate kohai, Masami's mother, Yuki Yoshida, who wants to fight her, but Nicole refuses until Yuki threatens to have her fired and take the house. Yeah, this is just an episode where Nicole gets in a fight with another mother. Yeah, 6 out of 10. It's funny because it looks like it's named the Furry. Next, we got the compilation. This compilation piece to the uploads and spoof of blooper shows. Elmore's most popular viral videos are shown as part of a series called The Best of Elmo Streaming. This is literally just an episode where they show a bunch of funny clips, just like the uploads and just like the tape. Yeah, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the scam. Yeah, this is an episode where they try to do like a skit on Ghostbusters, and then they eventually summon a giant demon. Yeah, and they tried to get rid of it because they accidentally summoned it. Yep. It's a funny episode. One of my favorites of season 4. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. Next, we got the Disaster Part 1. When Rob buys a universal remote from the Awesome Store, he uses it to control Elmore and frames Gumball for ruining his life. But as Rob banishes Gumball into the void, the remote goes in with him, and Gumball hits the rewind button to get out, only to end up going back to the beginning. That's the episode. That's literally the episode. Um, Rob buys a reversal remote and then is able to do stuff with it. And he wants to try and fuck up Gumball's life because he really hates Gumball. I'd give it. Wait, did I give? Oh yeah. I'm gonna give the Disaster a 8 out of 10. Okay. Holy shit. Holy shit. Alright. That's season 4. That was the finale of season 4. Oh my god. Holy shit. So just now I have discovered that that episode that I just recently rated wasn't called The Return, it was called The Rerun. And I have my glasses on. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's continue. Season 5, The Rerun, Part 2. As the episode continues when Gumball travels back to the event of the previous episode to prevent Rob from ruining his life, he finally gets revenge on Rob for framing him for the wrongdoings and causing yet another disaster at the mall. But Gumball saves Rob from the void and reverses the events before he disappears forever. That's the episode. Pretty much, yeah, so Gumball gets shot to the past, and he wants to change the events of what happened to make sure none of the shit happens again. That's the episode. I'd give it 7 out of 10. Next, we got the stories. When everyone in school has had it with Molly's tedious stories, Gumball and Darwin. Oh yeah, the stories. Yeah, have a plan to get her a new story she'll never forget. Yeah, pretty much. The dinosaur lady, Molly, pretty much keeps sharing really annoying stories. Everybody wants them to stop. So then Gumball and Darwin try and get her a story that she will never forget, and she will keep telling to make sure not everyone will get annoyed anymore. This episode was okay. I'd give it like 5 out of 10. Next, we got the guy. Anais makes friends with an awkward kid named Josh, but Gumball and Darwin think there is nothing wrong with them. You think there's nothing wrong with Anais' new friend until you realize that he's part of like a frog kingdom. It's a funny episode. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. There's a funny scene that has something to do with a wallet at one point. Yeah, it's good. Next, we got the boredom. On a boring Saturday afternoon, Gumball and Darwin decide to find something interesting to do, only to either miss out or pass by all of the weird events happening around them. I remember this episode being just boring. Literally, the episode is named The Boredom. It's boring. That's ironic. Um, yeah, I can barely remember what happens in this episode. I give it like a 4 out of 10. Next, we got the Vision. Gumball accidentally takes Alan's gym bag and finds a flash drive containing a manifesto outlining Alan's House of Cards Esqui rise to power through Elmore Junior High's student council. When they believe that Alan is plotting to take over the world, Gumball and Darwin go to extreme measures to stop Alan before he succeeds with his diabolical plan. This is literally just where Gumball and Darwin find out that Alan has this diabolical plan, and pretty much they want to stop him. Yeah, I'd give it 6 out of 10. Alright, so next we got hang on. Next we got the choices. During a disastrous dinner at home, Nicole flashes back to her childhood where she first met Richard while trying to make it to a karate tournament and wonders what life would be like if she never met him. Pretty much, yeah, this is just an episode which shows how Nicole and Richard met. Yeah. And all the things that could have happened on that day. Yeah. So this episode yeah, it's a good story. I'd give it like 7 out of 10. Next, we got the code. After the Wi-Fi goes down and Richie confesses that the connection is from the Robinsons as the Wattersons credit is so bad they cannot afford to get the internet for themselves, Gumball and Darwin try to live without internet by making real-life equivalents of everything associated with the internet. Email, social media, gaming, leaving bad reviews for products and services. When that does not work, the Watterson kids decide to hack Mr. Robinson's account. Yeah, this is just an episode where they try to hack Mr. Robinson's internet account when their Wi-Fi goes down. Yeah, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the test. Gumball takes an online test and is labeled a loser, so he decides to keep in all of his sarcastic remarks, which makes Gumball sick and turns his reality into an overly cliched family sitcom starring Tobias. I can't really remember this episode. I think it has something to do with Tobias. I can't remember what though. I'd give this episode like a 4 out of 10. Next, we got the slide. After locking eyes with the girl of his dreams at the mall, Rocky gets the help from Gumball and Darwin to find her on a new dating app. This is pretty much an episode where pretty much Rocky is trying to get a girlfriend using Tinder and using everything. Yeah, I'd give this episode like a and also then he tries to get the girlfriend that he sees. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Yeah. Next, we got the loophole. Gumball and Darwin try to teach Bobbit to help people, but he keeps taking things literally. When they tell him to protect life at all costs and to stop any potential dangers, he decides to eradicate all life on Earth. Yeah, this is pretty much just an episode where they accidentally teach Bobbit too much, and he starts taking all things that they teach him too literally, and then yeah, he he does some pretty fucked up shit. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's not the best. Then we got the copycats. The Watersons square off against a family said to be knockoffs of them by challenging them to a series of bizarre and dangerous stunts. This is a episode that was supposed to be a little episode saying fuck off to this Chinese version of the Amazing World of Gumball, which is literally just a clone that they did not approve of. So pretty much they made this episode to say fuck off and your show sucks. So yeah, that's the episode, and pretty much this episode literally yeah they meet copycats of themselves and they want to try and get rid of them. Yeah, I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It's definitely a classic. Next, we got the potato. Darwin quits eating potatoes after fearing he may have offended Idaho by eating them in front of him. That's the episode. It explained it so goddamn well. Pretty much, Gumball is mad because Darwin keeps eating potatoes right in front of their friend Idaho, who is a potato. So Darwin tries to go on a diet and not eat potato. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the fuss. Nicole is mad at the family for getting her special day, and Richard sets out to get a tattoo so he does not forget. Yeah, pretty much everyone forgets the special day, which is actually their anniversary, and Richard has no idea because the fucking calendar is upside down. I'd give this episode a 6 out of 10. Then we got the outside when the family visits Richard's estranged dad, Frankie, who lives in a trailer in the town dump. They assume that he's done time in prison based on his extended absence from Richard's life and try to make him feel more at home by turning their home into a jailhouse. Yeah, pretty much in this episode, they want to spend more time with their grandfather, so they pretty much turn their house into a prison. Yeah, that's the episode. I'd give it like a 8 out of 10. It's a funny episode. Oh my god. Hang on. Next, we got the Vase. Sick of Granny JoJo's ugly gifts, Nicole encourages the kids to take matters into their own hands and unintentionally break her latest hideous vase, but it backfires when it is completely indestructible. Only learning that Granny JoJo gave the wrong vase to her, Nicole must prevent the kids from destroying it at a junkyard. Yeah, pretty much this is just an episode where they try to destroy a really ugly vase. Yeah, that's all I could say. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the matchmaker. Gumball thinks Darwin is lovesick for Terry and enlists Carrie, the ghost, who has had a crush on Darwin since the scam, to help Darwin fall for Terry. Pretty much, yeah. Darwin has a crush on Terry, who is the paper person, and Carrie makes a potion for him. It's kind of like a Valentine's Day special, I think. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Next, with the box. The Watersons receive an unmarked package in the mail and drive themselves crazy figuring out what could be inside. Literally, they get a box in the mail, and every single Waterson member is trying to figure out what could be in the box. Without opening it, they all have their imagination. Yeah. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the console. When Gumball is given a cursed video game console, Elmore turns into a fantasy RPG video game. Gumball, Darwin, and Anais must save the town by going back to reality before it is too late. Yeah, Gumball gets a console, and pretty much the entire of Elmore turns 2D and pixely, and they need to beat the game. Yeah, that's it. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It's very interesting. Next, we got the Ollie. Gumball teaches Darwin everything he knows about the world of skateboarding, which in this case is a bunch of lies and exaggeration. Yeah, it's just a skateboarding episode where Gumball tries to teach Darwin skateboarding. I'd give this episode like a 4 out of 10. It's not my favorite. Next, we got the catfish. Gumball and Darwin realize Grandpa Louie has no friends. Oh, yeah. So they create one called Muriel, using the picture of a woman for him, but when Granny Jojo finds out that Louie has been spending time online with another woman, Muriel not existing isn't going to stop her from being destroyed. Pretty much, this episode, Gumball and Darwin try and get Louie someone so he's not lonely, and pretty much, yeah, they make up a fake person named Muriel, and well, it all turns to shit when Granny Jojo finds out. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Eh. Alright, Episode 21, The Cycle. Gumball and Darwin and Anais help Richard get his revenge on Tobias's father, Harold, who has been bullying him since he set him up to be prom king in high school. Yeah, pretty much. In this episode, there's this guy who's Tobias's father, he's still bullying Richard after what happened in high school. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Stars, episode 22. When Richard gives Larry the hairdresser a bad review for saying he's bald, he gets offended he gets offered a free haircut. This inspires Gumball and Darwin to go on a reviewing spree and target wherever Larry works, which is practically all over Elmore, forcing him to give them stuff with the treat of a bad review, and everyone else to become paranoid of saying or doing anything fear of getting 0 stars. Pretty much, yeah, this is just an episode where everyone is scared of getting a bad review, so they all have to give everyone what they want, and it kind of turns really chaotic. I'd give this episode like a fucking 7 out of 10. Next, we got the grades. Miss Simeon's. Oh, fuck. Miss Simeon discovers a failed test from Gumball's past that brings down his grade point average and forces Gumball to go back to kindergarten. Literally, this is an episode where Gumball failed a test in kindergarten, causing him to have to go back to kindergarten. Yeah, pretty much. I'd give this episode a 7 out of 10. Next with the diet. Gumball and Darwin help Richard lose weight, but his new buff persona becomes a pain for everyone around him. Yeah, pretty much. Richard goes on a diet, and he becomes really shit. He becomes a really shit person. I'd give this episode a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the X. When Gumball learns that his nemesis Rob, formerly known as Dr. Wrecker, has found a new nemesis, Banana Joe Gumball. Banana Joe Gumball. What? Oh, Rob has found a new nemesis, Banana Joe. Gumball must break Rob and Banana Joe's enemy ship by making him come back to be his nemesis again. Much to the frustration of Penny, who has grown sick of Gumball telling her stories about his encounters with Rob. I'd give this episode like a fucking 6 out of 10. It's literally just about Gumball being really sad because Rob has picked a new person. Yeah, next we got the Sorcerer. Gumball refuses to accept that he is the only kid at school with no special powers and convinces Mrs. Jotunheim, Hector's mom, to take him on as her apprentice and ends up unleashing a giant literal internet troll on Elmore. Yeah, that's literally the episode. They try to get rid of the internet troll. Yeah, I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the menu. The prize jewel in the secret joyful burger menu is a mysterious burger, but to order it, a customer needs to know its name. When Larry refuses to tell the Watersons what it is called, Richard, Gumball, and Darwin go to supersized lengths to find it out. Pretty much, in this episode, Richard has to go on a quest to pretty much eat a burger from every single joyful burger in all of Elmore to get the name of the secret burger. That's what it is. I'd give this episode like a 8 out of 10. It's pretty funny. Next, we got the uncle. Gumball tries to become Ocho's friend after he believes that his uncle is the same Mario from the Super Mario Bros. Video game series. Yeah, this was cool that they had Mario in this episode. Pretty much, yeah, Ocho says that his uncle is Mario. Gumball then wants to become friends with Ocho. It turns out, like towards the middle or end of the episode, pretty much that Ocho's uncle is Mario, but Mario is really like poor and drunk, and he looks really weird. Yeah, funny episode. I'd give it like a 8 out of 10. Next, got the Weirdo. This is such a classic. 10 out of fucking 10. Gumball and Darwin try to help Sussy be less of a weirdo after seeing her get bullied until they learn what it is like to be her by putting on her plastic googly eyes. This has been my most favorite Gumball episode for quite a while. I really like this episode. Fucking 10 out of 10. Pretty much, this episode features an extremely hilarious character named Sussy, and you get to see her life and everything around her, and it's funny. Fucking 10 out of 10. Next, we got the heist. A mishap with a motorcycle helmet leads Richard with $2 million from the Elmore Bank, with the police incompetently trying to find the robber. The Watersons squabble over whether the money should be returned and have all of them face a life sentence for accidental bank robbery, or if they should spend it as they sorely need the money. Pretty much, in this episode, Richard accidentally robs a bank and they need to try and find out what they should do with it. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Next up, the singing. The people of Elmer enjoy a day of singing while Nicole throws out the showerhead that started singing in the first place. Yep, this is an episode where there's everyone in Elmore does like a giant musical. It's kind of shit. 4 out of 10. Next, got the best. Carmen continuously annoys Gumball by criticizing his standards. After trying and failing to get back at her, he discovers her past as a troublemaking student at Franklin Junior High and tries to upload new clips of her arrest expulsion onto Elmo's stream it. Um, yeah, I think this is just an episode where they expose Carmen, the cactus person. I can't remember. 6 out of 10. Next, we got the worst. The Watersons come home angry, believing that they have had the worst day due to age and sex discrimination, so they decide to swap sexes and age in order to find out who has it tougher: men, women, adults, children. It described it so well. Pretty much, they try and prove who has it better. Yeah, that's the episode. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the deal. When Nicole finally gets a raise and becomes the employee of the month, Richard feels he does not get appreciated for being a stay-at-home father, but when he shows Nicole what he does to get the kids fed, clean, and ready for school, and Nicole calls him out for it, Richard goes on strike, and the house goes to pot when the children become gremlins, demons. Yeah, so pretty much in this episode, Richard leaves and doesn't take care of the kids anymore, which pretty much turns them into demons. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It's funny. Next, got the petals. When Leslie begins wilting, Gumball and Darwin do what they can to help their floral pal look beautiful, and Leslie ends up running scared when Gumball reveals a grisly solution to Leslie's wilting problem. Yeah, this is just an episode where pretty much Leslie starts dying. The flower part of her starts dying, and Gumball and Darwin try to help him or her. I don't know what gender Leslie's, whatever. Um, yeah, I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. It's quite funny. Next, got the puppets. While searching for old things to sell at their mother's garage sale, Darwin finds a box of puppets that Gumball wants. Oh yeah, this is an episode that was pretty much made by the same people that made Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. You should know that it's a show with puppets and stuff. Pretty much, yeah, it's an episode where Gumball and Darwin find these old puppets, they play with them, and then the puppets turn out to be really evil. It's such a good episode. I give this episode like a 9 out of 10. It's one of my favorites. It's so good. I love Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Oh my god. Next, we got The Nuisance. The Watersons fear the worst when their mayor, formerly a real estate mogul, offer them the chance to be model citizens to avoid being thrown out of Elmore. And when the Watersons turn human, with Darwin as their pet dog, and the mayor reveals that he is gentrifying the neighborhood so only rich people would live there, the Watersons do what they can to make Elmore unattractive to potential buyers. Yeah, I think this is just a thing where Gumball and everyone tries to make sure people don't buy stuff in Elmore. I can't remember this episode. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got The Line. The Watersons and all of Elmore do whatever it takes to be the first ones at the new screening of the Star Wars-esque sci-fi space drama Stellar Odyssey: Face the Force Rehashed. I thought this was in an earlier season. Whatever. Pretty much, this episode, they try to get to the front of the line. They want to try and make sure they are the first people to see this brand new movie that they are really excited for. I'd give this episode like an 8 out of 10. Quite a good one. Next, we got The List. When Gumball and Darwin discover that Nicole had to give up her life goals to be a wife and a mother, the duo decide to help her out by doing her chores and end up taking the goal list she made when she was 16 years old. Pretty much, yeah, this was just an episode where Gumball and Darwin tried to complete their mother's list when she had it before she became a wife and a mother. Yeah. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. It's quite funny watching them do everything. Next, we got the news. Join desk anchor Kip Mike, the microphone, as they cover all of Elmore's goings on the Channel 6 news from a robbery. Oh, yeah, pretty much this is just an episode that shows the news and shows funny things of what's happening on Elmore and stories and stuff. It's a pretty shit finale. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Right. Holy shit. Season 6. Oh my god. Which I'm trying to zoom through this. Oh my golly. Alright, so there's 44 episodes in season 6, but I remember most of them, so don't worry. I think we're all good. Hang on, wait. Yep, so first episode, we got The Rival. Back in time to when Anais is a newborn baby, Gumball and Darwin are terrified of her sinister and evil nature trying to get the boys in trouble and killed. They decide to ship her away, but her box ends up getting picked up by the garbage men, forcing the boys to go and rescue her. Yeah, this is literally just an episode of pretty much the origins of Anais and when she was born and how she was born, everything. And what happened when she was born. I'd give this episode like an 8 out of 10. It's a classic for season 6. Next, we got the lady. Gumball and Darwin become suspicious of Richard's connection to a woman named Samantha, who's always hanging out with a group of old ladies. When they realize that Richard and Samantha are one and the same, they set out to right a wrong. This is just an episode where pretty much Richard becomes a lady. Well, he tries to become a lady to hang out with a bunch of cool people he just met. Yeah. I'd give this episode like a 8 out of 10. It's also a classic. Next, we've got The Sucker. Darwin ends up in detention with Julius Oppenheimer Jr., the 1920s cartoon-inspired bombhead bully first seen on The Lesson, for trying to fix Julius' vandalism, and Julius cons Darwin into being a part of his gang, but soon regrets it when everything Darwin does goes wrong. Yeah, this is literally just an episode where Darwin joins a gang that pretty much is filled with a bunch of bullies. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Next, you got the vegging. Gobble and Darwin decide to spend the whole day vegging out and watch TV. To do so, they drown out all the weird happenings around them, but end up having to rescue the family when they are stuck in their car hanging over the edge of a broken bridge. Yeah, this is literally just an episode where Gumball and Darwin are trying to relax and they ignore literally everything that happens around them when lots of stuff happens around them. I'd give this episode like a 8 out of 10. Next, we got the one. Gumball is put off by Tobias's constant burns, despite the fact that he allows Darwin to do so, and that he himself is self-deprecating. Hang on. Realizing that Tobias wants to be his best friend, Gumball tries to let him down easily, but Tobias takes it as an invitation to eliminate Gumball's other friends. This is literally just an episode where Tobias wants to become Gumball's friend, and to do so, Tobias tries to eliminate all of Gumball's other friends. And there's a funny thing, yeah. I'd give it like 6 out of 10. Next, we got the father, feeling bad for not having had a childhood with his father, Frankie. The kids convince Richard to try and reconnect with him through bonding, but Frankie cannot seem to break his criminal habits, and Richard is starting to lose his patience with him. Yep, that's literally the episode. Hang on, wait. Yeah, that's the episode. That's the best way you should subscribe it. No, describe it. Oh my fuck. Who should subscribe though? Yep. So I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, with the cringe. Fed up with their constant awkward encounters, Gumball and the hot dog guy decide to be friends so they can revel in their embarrassing moments. When that doesn't work, however, Gumball fashions a makeshift time machine, and the two go back to when all their awkward encounters started. This is yet another Gumball and Hot Dog Guy episode, where pretty much, yeah, Gumball and Hot Dog Guy. They go back in time. Yeah. I'd give it 7 out of 10. Next, got the cage. When Mr. Cornell, the computer pixelated frog geography teacher, first seen on the others, lies to the Band-Aid school nurse about how he got injured. Gumball and Darwin think Mr. Cornell is a mixed martial artist and convince him to go up against a Russian fighter named Joe in a cage match to raise money badly needed for the school. Yeah, this is just an episode where the frog dude goes into a cage. He's a wrestler. Yeah. 6 out of 10. Next, we got the Faith. Elmo suddenly loses his color and turns black and white. Oh yeah, this is just an episode where the balloon guy, Alan, is sad, and so then all of Elmo turns black and white, and Gumball and Darwin try to fix it. I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Next, up the candidate. While the adults are having a charity gala for the school, Gumball decides to elect himself leader in a plan to escape from the school. But every decision he makes leads to the school crumbling. Literally, yeah, that's the episode. Pretty much, they are stuck in a room and they try to survive. Yeah, all the kids. Next, we got the Anybody. Clayton, the red ball of clay, known for being a liar, poses as Gumball so Gumball can get out of detention for being late at school after he has a bad day. But Clayton takes his shape-shifting powers too far and ends up posing as different people in Elmore and framing them for misdemeanors. The two must follow him to apologize to Clayton. It's a Clayton episode, so I can't be bothered. 4 out of 10. Next, we got the Pact. When Principal Brown has to take the bus, he and Gumball relate their grievances about the respective girlfriends, Miss Simeon's bad morning breath, and Penny's irritable laugh. They make a deal to tell each other's girlfriends about their issues, but Principal Brown backs out on his end, causing Gumball to pester him. this is just a thing with girlfriends and boyfriends and stuff. It's kind of a pooey episode. I give it like a 5 out of 10. Next, we got the neighbor. Gumball and Darwin realize that they don't know the name of their neighbor, the Antlers guy, after. Oh, yeah, this is just an episode where they try and figure out the name of their neighbor, who's a mailman. He's got antlers. Yeah. And, yeah, it eventually gets revealed that their neighbor is a wanted man. Yep, yeah. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Next up, the shippening. As the awesome store flees, what does that say? Flees Elmore, it drops a Cartoon Network notebook that is found by Sarah, who begins writing fan fiction in it. Unbeknownst to her, her writing becomes reality in the town, and Gumball and Darwin confront her. They soon become pressured when the cops arrive looking to get the notebook back. Yep, that's the episode. It's one of my favorites in season 6. It's a really good episode. I give it a 9 out of 10. But pretty much, yeah, it's just an episode where Sarah, the ice cream cone lady, does a bunch of shippings. Yeah, I'd give it 9 out of 10. Exactly. Next, we got the brain. Anais begins suffering from brain damage after face palming so much from her family's stupidity. Yeah, pretty much because her family's so stupid, she keeps face palming into her forehead, so then she needs to go to hospital, so then they need to stop being stupid. I'd give this episode a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the parents. The Watersons run into Nicole's estranged parents. This is literally, yeah, Nicole, who was Gumball's mother, finds her parents in a supermarket, and well, she tries to reunite with her parents. I'd give this episode 6 out of 10. Next, we got the founder. Nicole and Richard head to the Chanax building to pay for their internet. Even though he is told to wait outside, Richard wants. Oh, yeah, pretty much this is just an episode where Richard gets mistaken to be the boss of Chanax, which is a big company, and then Richard gets a bunch of free stuff. I'd give this episode a 7 out of 10. It's pretty funny. Next, we got the schooling. Gumball and Darwin complain about school and wish they can just get a job like Larry. Intrigued, Larry has Gumball and Darwin spend a day doing all of his jobs for 5 minutes while he goes on break. Yeah, this is literally just an episode where Gumball and Darwin do every single one of Larry's jobs and have fun with it, and it's kind of just a montage of them doing his jobs. I'd give this episode an 8 out of 10. It's really funny. Next, got the intelligence. Gumball and the internet argue with each other, causing the latter to upgrade itself. Unfortunately, he becomes overpowered, causing all technology to stop working, sending everyone into the dark ages with no other options. Gumball and Darwin set out to look for the internet and figure out how to fix him. Pretty much, yep. This is just an episode where it sends everybody into medieval times, and everyone is really medieval and dark ages and shit. It's funny when you see all the characters be stupid. And yeah, so Gumball and Darwin have to try and fix the internet. I'd give this episode a 7 out of 10. Um, yeah, next we got the potion. Hector Jotunheim is tired of being tall, so Gumball and Darwin steal a potion book from his mother to make him small. Hector ends up disliking his new height and asks to be turned back to normal. Gumball and Darwin oblige, but they forget an ingredient, causing Hector to morph and forcing them to find the missing ingredient. Yeah, this is an episode about a potion and stuff. I can barely remember it. 5 out of 10. Next, we got the spin offs. I'm trying to speed through this, by the way. The spin offs. Rob kidnaps the internet and forces him to play a VHS tape full of pilots that focus on other characters, including Banana Joe, Tina, Bobbert, Larry, and Tobias. Yeah, this is literally just an episode full of spin off shows, like, and there's skits on other shows in this. It's funny. 6 out of 10. Next, we got the transformation. While on a video chat, Penny asks Gumball to help them settle an argument over whether her family is in or out of their shells. After much debating, Patrick and Penny tell a story about whether they should. Oh yeah, yeah. This is literally just an episode where they try and argue over if Penny's family should be in or out of their shells or not. And it's funny because there's lots of little clips that well animated, but also very weird. I'd give it 7 out of 10. Next, got the understanding. Principal Brown introduces a new student named Peter Pepperoni to Gumball and Darwin. Oh yeah, this is just an episode where Gumball and Darwin make friends with a new kid who they cannot understand what he's saying, but eventually they find out the secrets about their new friend. I'd give this episode a 7 out of 10. Um, Next, got the aid. Richard buys a horse named Wonderclop, which angers Nicole. Luckily, she has already contacted someone to buy it, but he will not arrive to get it for 2 weeks. In the meantime, the Wilsons decide to transform their home into a bed and breakfast. This is literally just an episode where pretty much they turn their house into a bed and breakfast because they are running out of money and they need to stay in their house as well because fucking Richard bought a horse. So yeah, funny episode. 6 out of 10. Next, got the ghouls. Gumball and Darwin visit Carrie, who is upset that Halloween isn't scary anymore, and just a day where people care about candy. To prove her point, she takes the two around Elmore to. Yep, this is literally just an episode where Carrie tries to prove that Halloween isn't scary anymore. Carrie's the ghost, like I've said multiple times. Yeah, funny episode. 7 out of 10. Next, we got the stink. Gumball points out to Mr. Small that everything he does has consequences and therefore makes him hypocritical when it comes to living a healthy vegan lifestyle. Overcome with remorse, Mr. Small decides to cut himself off from society and live in the wild, forcing Gumball and Darwin to go rescue him before he hurts himself. Yeah, this is just an episode where Mr. Small tries to prove that he's a really healthy person. That's the episode explained in a nutshell. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the awareness. Gumball accidentally offends Leslie when he says that plants are useless on Green Week, feeling that Leslie is taking advantage of him for not knowing much about plant culture. Gumball decides to get back at him by exploiting supposed plant things that he and Leslie can do. Yeah, this is literally just an episode where Gumball tries to expose plants. Yeah, 6 out of 10. Next, we got the slip. After missing his package, Richard cannot be bothered with picking it up at the package depot or paying for it. Yeah, this is literally just an episode where Richard wants to try and get his package without going to the package depot or paying for it. But this eagle dude is being an asshole to him and won't give him his package. I'd give this episode a 7 out of 10. Next, we got the drama. After talking to Leslie and Masami, Gumball begins to doubt that the solid nature of Darwin's and Carrie's relationship due to their contrasting personalities and tastes. This is further complicated by the appearance of Azrael, Carrie's ex, who has come for a visit, forcing Gumball to intervene. Yep, this is literally just an episode where uh fucking Gumball wants to try and save his brother's relationship with his girlfriend because they don't have anything in common. I'd give this episode a 6 out of 10. Next we got the buddy. When the computers in the library suddenly come down with a virus, Anais and Jamie are viewed as the culprits by Principal Brown. In order to clear their names, the two decide to solve the mystery with Anais hoping to make Jamie her friend. That's literally the episode. It's a mystery of what happened to the school computers. Yeah. 7 out of 10. Next we got the position. Not the position, the possession. Nicole tries to get Richard to get rid of the refrigerator due to its age. Oh yeah, pretty much. This is just an episode where they replace their refrigerator, but Richard is very attached to it because he's Richard. Funny episode. 6 out of 10. Next, we got the Master. Gumball, Darwin, Anais, and Nicole will not stop arguing with each other to get them to stop. Richard decides to set up a tabletop role-playing game for Saturday game night with himself as the Dungeon Master. Yeah, it's a skit on Dungeons and Dragons. Literally, that's the episode. It's a skit on Dungeons and Dragons. They play Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. Next, we got the Oh yeah, the Master. I gotta give it. Oh, did I rate the Possession? The Possession, 6 out of 10. The Master, 7 out of 10. Okay. Yeah, the silence. While having another typical colorful conversation, Gumball and Darwin realize that they have run out of interesting things to say. They try numerous things such as therapy, medicine, and other outlandish tactics to get their verbal exchange back, but fear that their friendship is growing stale and struggle to save it. Yeah, pretty much Gumball and Darwin really just want to save their friendship. I'd give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Next, we got the future. Banana Barbara has been missing for a week and oh yeah, this is literally just an episode where Gumball and Darwin try to help Banana Joe find his mother, and it turns out that Rob has kidnapped her, and they want to try and get her back. Yeah, 8 out of 10 because this episode is very, very lore heavy. It has so much to do with lore. Yeah. Next, we got the wish. Principal Brown is having trouble saying "I love you" to Miss Simeon, causing her to think that their relationship is over. In a very bizarre turn of events, Gumball and Darwin think that they may have accidentally wished Miss Simeon into a neck pillow. Principal Brown must now try to break the curse and make her normal. That's the best I can do. That's yeah, literally I wouldn't be able to describe the episode better than they just did. Um yeah, good episode. Hang on. Um Holy shit. Anyways, yeah, next we got The Factory. For bringing your child to work day, Gumball and Darwin force themselves to find the force themselves to the Rainbow Factory to see Nicole's workplace. To their surprise, the Rainbow Factory turns out to be a dreary place that makes making rainbows look bland. Yeah, this is just an episode where pretty much they visit the Rainbow Factory and it's all kind of like chaotic. I'd give this episode a 6 out of 10. Next, we got The Agent. In a parody of James Bond, Gumball and Darwin end up with spy clothes after misplacing their own. This is literally an episode where they do a skit on James Bond. After misplacing it, the principal sends them on a mission to look for items that have been stolen from around the school. Yeah, that's the episode. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Next, we got The Web. When it becomes apparent that Nicole. Wait, what? Oh, fuck. Oh no. When it becomes apparent that Nicole knows absolutely nothing about computers, Gumball and Darwin head to her workplace to see what it exactly what what exactly it is she is doing on her computer. They begin to find it funny when they see that all the adults fail to understand computers until they realize just how serious that is. Yep. Funny episode when they try to figure out computers. 7 out of 10. Next, we got The Mess. Gumball and Darwin stay up all night watching videos despite having to babysit Penny's sister. Oh yeah, pretty much Penny makes Gumball and Darwin babysit her little sister, and Gumball and Darwin do an absolutely terrible job and lose Penny's little sister. I'd give this episode an 8 out of 10. It's fucking hilarious. Next, we got The Heart. Gumball and Darwin overhear Mr. Robinson admit that he hates the two. He actually begins to feel bad, and at the suggestion of his son Rocky, tries to find some way to make up with them. Gumball and Darwin learn that the problem lies within his heart, who tells them that he hates feelings, forcing the two to try to teach it about love. Yeah, it's just an episode where they try to teach Mr. Robinson's heart because, well, they find out that Mr. Robinson hates them in this episode. Funny episode. 7 out of 10. Next we got The Revolt. Darwin tries to convince the objects around Elmore to stop being repressed by their owners. Yeah, this is literally just an episode where Darwin tries to teach the objects of Elmore to pretty much not listen to humans, which kind of causes them to all rebel and kind of cause everything to go to shit. This episode funny, 7 out of 10. Next we got The Decisions. Um, Darwin has trouble making decisions. Oh yeah, pretty much. This is just an episode where Darwin pretty much gets Gumball to make his decisions for him, and Gumball makes some pretty shit decisions. So Darwin's life turns to shit. 7 out of 10. Next with the BFFs, Gumball's old BFF from Minnesota, Fuzzy. Yeah. So this is an episode where Gumball's old BFF, it was named Fuzzy, who was a little whatever they're called, a furball, I don't know. Pretty much comes to knock on his door, and Gumball starts hanging out with him more than Darwin. Darwin gets jealous, and everything kind of turns chaotic when they find out that Gumball's old BFF is a bit fucking crazy. Yeah. I'd give this episode a 7 out of 10. Next, we got The Inquisition, which is the finale of The Amazing World of Gumball. We're almost done. School Superintendent Evil comes to Elmore Junior High and critiques the quality of the school. He begins banishing all cartoonish behavior and transforming everyone into realistic people to eventually make them live action like himself. Gumball and Darwin race to save everyone and manage to change everyone back to normal, only to discover that Evil is actually Rob in disguise. He tries to justify his actions and warn everyone about an unspecified event, but Tina knocks him out. Rob wakes up in the school late at night as the void opens beneath him and swallows the rest of the school away, ending the main series on a yet to be solved cliffhanger. That is literally the episode. Pretty much Gumball and Darwin try to stop Superintendent Evil. They find out that it's Rob, and well, then Rob falls into the void. I'd give this episode like a 9 out of 10. I got it. It's the end of the show. Alright. Holy shit. Oh my god, we're done. We're finished. 1 hour and 58 minutes. Oh my god. Oh, I really, really hope you guys like this one. Oh my god, it took me so long. It took me a bit shorter than the South Park one took me. The South Park one took me like 2.5 hours. This one only took me 2 hours, which is good. I thought this one would at first I thought it would take like 6 hours, and I was really worried. I managed to fit it in to 2 hours. Oh my god. Holy shit, that took a while. I really hope you guys like this one. Just remember, you guys won't be getting any more videos for the next Hang on. Wait. I think it's so today's the 12th, and 13th, 14th, 15th. Hang on, wait. So today's Thursday. So then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, you guys won't be getting any more videos for the next 3 days, but just deal with it. It's just 3 days. And then on Monday, I will most likely post again. Or I might post again in the next 3 days because there's something that I want to talk about, and I want to talk about it as fast as I possibly can. But yeah, this one is just a banger that I said I was going to release a banger in my previous video, and this is the banger I was talking about. So, yeah, 2 hour long video. Fucking 2 hours. I rushed through this as fast as I could. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, that's really all I gotta say. See ya.